Have you ever seen a big news headline flash across your phone? Maybe about a huge election, a scientific breakthrough, or a change in the economy. And for a second, you feel this freeze? That feeling like everyone else is in on a secret conversation and you're stuck outside?
It's that little moment of panic. Your friends or coworkers start talking about it, and you just nod and smile, hoping nobody asks for your opinion. We know this feels overwhelming, almost isolating.
I had a student, let's call him Steve, super smart guy. He was in a meeting and his boss mentioned a recent market fluctuation. Steve told me he spent the next 10 minutes just repeating that phrase in his head, fluctuation, fluctuation, and completely missed the entire point of the conversation. He felt invisible.
That feeling is the absolute worst. It's like wanting to join the party, but you can't find the door. But here's the good news. That door is not locked. Today, we are going to give you the key.
That's right. We're not just going to give you a long, boring list of vocabulary. We're going to show you how to understand and discuss the news, even if you don't know every single word. This is a game changer.
And make sure you stick around for our third section, step-by-step solutions. The second tip in that section will literally save you so much time and anxiety when you read the news. It's a simple trick for spotting the most important words in any headline.
You're not just learning English today. You're learning how to connect with the world. Let's get started.
So, why is this so important? Honestly, it's not just about sounding smart or passing an English test. This goes way deeper. It's about belonging.
Exactly. Think about it. When you can understand what's happening in the world, you're no longer a passive observer. You become an active participant. You can share your ideas, understand different perspectives, and feel connected to people, not just in your city, but across the globe.
I remember a student from Brazil, Sophia. She was working for an international tech company. She told me she used to dread Monday mornings because everyone would talk about the weekend news. She felt so much pressure. After we worked on these skills, she sent me an email. She said, "Emily, today I didn't just understand the conversation about the new AI regulations, I actually started it. I literally cried happy tears."
That's what it's all about. It's the freedom to have a voice. It's the confidence to text your friend, "Hey, did you see that article about the space launch?" without panicking about your grammar. It's about the joy of learning something new about the world and being able to share that excitement.
This isn't just about vocabulary words on a page. It's about empowering you to be a global citizen. It's about finally feeling like you're part of the conversation, because you are. And you deserve to feel that confidence. You're not just learning, you're joining the DialogueBoost family. And we're all in this together.
All right, now that we know why this matters so much, let's talk about some of the roadblocks, the common mistakes almost every learner makes. But don't worry, we're going to smash right through them. Okay, mistake number 1. This one is huge. It's the direct translation trap. Learners try to translate news headlines or idioms word for word from their native language.
This creates some interesting sentences. Laughs. I had a student, Maria, from Spain. She was trying to discuss politics. In Spanish, you might say a politician is haciendo campaña, which literally means making a campaign. So in English, she said, the politician is making his campaign.
It's so close, but a native speaker would always say running a campaign or campaigning. The meaning is understandable, but it immediately signals that you're translating in your head. It creates a small barrier.
And in the news, this gets even more complex. A headline might say, "Government to table a new bill." If you translate table directly, you think of a piece of furniture.
Furniture. A bill. It's confusing. But in this context, to table a bill means to formally present it for discussion. That's a perfect example. So the mistake is relying on direct, word-for-word translation. It trips you up and slows you down.
Okay, mistake number 2 is what I call perfectionist paralysis. This is when you see a news article and you feel like you have to understand every single word to get the meaning.
This is so common. A learner opens an article, sees a word like unprecedented or ratification in the first sentence, panics, and immediately closes the tab. The brain just goes, nope, too hard, and you give up.
Exactly. My student, Kenji, from Japan, told me this was his biggest struggle. He'd spend 30 minutes on the first paragraph of a BBC article, looking up every single word in the dictionary. By the end, he was so exhausted that he couldn't even remember what the article was about. He was focusing on the trees and completely missing the forest.
You don't need to be a walking dictionary to understand the news. We're going to show you how to get the main idea, the gist, without getting stuck. But here's what most learners miss. Native speakers don't know every word either. We use context to figure things out all the time.
This brings us to our third mistake, the tone mismatch. This happens when you use language that is either too formal or too informal for the situation.
Oh, this can be awkward. Imagine you're in a professional setting discussing a serious economic downturn. A learner might try to use slang they learned from a movie and say, yeah, the economy's totally messed up, dude. It doesn't fit. It can make you seem less serious or unprofessional.
On the flip side, you can also be too formal. I had a student who was chatting with friends about a funny viral video. She said, "Indeed, the feline's unexpected maneuver was a source of considerable amusement."
I mean, she's not wrong, but her friends were probably like, what? You mean like, yeah, that cat video was hilarious. Understanding the difference between a formal news report and a casual chat about the news is crucial for connection.
It really is. Using the right tone shows you understand the social context. And that's a huge part of fluency. So, to recap, don't translate directly, don't try to understand every single word, and pay attention to the tone.
Now that we know the traps, let's get to the fun part, the solutions. These are the tools that will help you break free. All right, step number 1 is your new secret weapon. We call it the headline detective method. Instead of reading an article like a novel from start to finish, you're going to act like a detective looking for clues.
I love this metaphor. So, what are the clues? When you see a headline, your only job is to find 3 things. 1. The who or what. Who or what is this story about? Example, a company, the president, scientists. 2. The action. What did they do? Example, announced, discovered, launched. 3. The result or key detail. What was the outcome? Example, a new product, a new law, a major change.
Let's try one. Imagine the headline is, Tech Giant Unveils Revolutionary AI Chip. Who? The tech giant. Action? Unveils. A fancy word for shows or reveals. Result? A revolutionary AI chip. Even if you don't know what unveils means, you can guess from the context. A tech company, a new chip. They probably announced it or created it. You have the main idea in 5 seconds. This is the trick that saves you so much time.
Okay, this leads perfectly into our second step, which is a game changer for building your vocabulary. This is the Vocabulary Trio Power-Up. When you learn a new word from the news, don't just learn the word itself. Learn its family.
It's family? What do you mean?
Learn the noun, the verb, and the adjective form. Let's take a common news topic, the economy. You'll often see the word inflation. That's the noun. We are worried about inflation. Verb, prices are inflating. Adjective, the inflationary pressure is high.
Wow, so you learn one core idea, but you get 3 words out of it. That's so efficient. It's like a vocabulary buy one, get 2 free deal.
Exactly. When you do this, high five to Ethan, you're not just memorizing, you're building a flexible toolkit. You can use the word in different situations. Let's do another one. A word you see in politics, negotiation. Noun, the negotiation was successful. Verb, the leaders will negotiate. Adjective, we need to find a negotiable solution.
This is a fantastic habit to build. Every time you look up a word, just quickly check for its other forms. It will triple how fast your practical vocabulary grows.
And our final step is the most powerful one of all. Context is your GPS. This is the skill that separates struggling learners from confident communicators. Context tells you where the conversation is going.
This goes back to the perfectionist paralysis we talked about. You don't need to know every word if you can use context as your guide. Let's say you read this sentence. The government implemented a new embargo on imported goods to protect local industries.
Embargo might be a new word for a lot of learners. It sounds intimidating. But let's use our GPS. What are the clues? Who? The government. What did they do? Implemented something on imported goods. Why? To protect local industries.
So, if they want to protect local businesses from things coming from other countries, an embargo must be some kind of restriction or a ban or a tax. You don't need the exact dictionary definition to understand the meaning. Your context GPS got you there.
This skill is your superpower. It builds confidence because you start trusting your own brain to figure things out. You're no longer scared of unknown words.
So, to recap our solutions, be a headline detective. Use the vocabulary trio and always let context be your GPS. Now, let's put this all together and dive deep into how to talk about different types of news.
Okay, so not all news is the same. The vocabulary you need to discuss politics is different from what you need for technology or the environment. We're going to do a quick-fire round on 3 key areas and then do a role play.
First up, politics. Key words you'll always see are policy, a plan or rule made by a government. For example, the new healthcare policy. Legislation, a law or a set of laws. For example, they passed new legislation. Administration, the government in power. For example, the current administration. Diplomacy, managing relationships between countries. For example, they are using diplomacy to resolve the conflict.
Next, the economy. This sounds scary, but it's usually about a few core ideas. Recession, a period when the economy is doing poorly. For example, experts are worried about a recession. GDP, or gross domestic product, the total value of everything a country produces, a simple way to measure a country's economic health. For example, the nation's GDP grew by 2%. Interest rates, the cost of borrowing money. This affects everything from buying a house to a country's growth. For example, the central bank raised interest rates.
And my favorite, tech and science. Breakthrough, a major new discovery. For example, scientists announced a breakthrough in cancer research. Innovation, a new idea, method, or device. For example, the company is known for its innovation. Disruption, when a new technology completely changes an industry. Think about how Netflix disrupted video stores. For example, AI is causing major disruption in the creative industries.
Okay, now let's see how this works in a real conversation. We're going to role play. Ethan is going to be a learner, Alex, who wants to discuss a tech article he just read. I'll be his friend and coach, Maria.
Hey, Maria. I read this article about AI. It said AI will cause a lot of disruption in the job market. That word, disruption, it sounds so negative, almost violent. Am I using it right if I say that?
That's a fantastic question, Alex. It's one of those words that sounds intense, but its meaning in business and tech is a little different. Disruption doesn't mean violence here. It means a huge, fast change that creates a new way of doing things.
Oh, so it's not just a problem, it's a big change. Like when smartphones replaced regular cell phones.
Exactly. That was a huge disruption. It created new jobs, like app developers, and it made other things less common. The article is probably saying that AI will change jobs in a similar way. Some jobs might disappear, but new ones will be created.
Okay, that makes so much more sense now. So it's not just a negative word, it's about innovation.
You got it. You could totally say the innovation of AI is causing disruption. That sounds perfect and shows you really understand the topic. You're doing great.
See how that works? A simple conversation can clarify so much. Don't be afraid to ask, what does that word mean in this context? It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of a curious and engaged learner.
All right. Now it's your turn to be the detective. We're going to put a headline on the screen. I want you to take 10 seconds and use the headline detective method. Find the who, what, the action, and the result. Don't worry about knowing every word. Just find the clues.
Ready? Let's do it.
Time's up. What did you find? The who or what? The global summit. The action? Concludes. This means ends or finishes. The result? A new climate accord. Accord is a formal word for agreement. So, a big meeting of world leaders ended with a new agreement about the climate. See? You got it.
Pausing now. You're doing amazing. If you need more time, just hit the pause button. There's no rush. This is your practice. Ready for the next one? Okay, let's break it down. The who or what. An aerospace firm, a company that works with space travel. The action? Announces. The result? An ambitious plan for Mars colonization. Basically, a big plan to go to Mars. So, a space company announced a plan to go to Mars. Simple, right?
You are building this skill right now, in real time. This is awesome. One more. This one is a little trickier. Okay, a few more advanced words here, but let's use our GPS. The who or what? The central bank, the main bank of a country. The action? Implements policies. This means starts new rules. The result? to curb inflation. To curb means to control or limit something. So the country's main bank started new rules to control rising prices.
Fantastic work. You see, even with difficult words like implements and curb, you can still understand the entire story. That is a massive win. You should be so proud of yourself.
We have covered so much today. We talked about the mistakes to avoid, like the translation trap and perfectionist paralysis.
We gave you concrete tools like the headline detective, the vocabulary trio, and using context as your GPS, and you just practice them live.
But we want you to leave with one main idea. Learning to discuss the news isn't a final destination. It's a journey of connection. Every article you read, every conversation you have, is a step towards understanding the world and your place in it a little better.
Today, you didn't just learn English. You gained freedom. The freedom to form your own opinions, to share your voice in a global conversation, and to satisfy your own curiosity without fear or hesitation. That is a superpower.
We are so incredibly proud of you for showing up today and putting in the work. You're not just a learner anymore. You're a participant. You are part of the conversation.
Keep practicing, stay curious, and remember that you're part of the DialogueBoost family. We're always here cheering you on. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more lessons to help you become a confident English speaker. We'll see you in the next video.